guys, hey, welcome to my channel. I am finally back. I'm gonna try to get this video out in one piece because I'll start it and then people come around. So anyway, so as you can see by the title, I'm gonna try to jump right into it, and gonna go over my labor and delivery story. I don't want to do it, but at the same time I do want to do it so I can remember some things, and keep y'all up to date with everything, because I know, some people like to watch this kind of stuff and are interested. But anyway, so I'm just pulling my videos up so I know what time I was where and stuff like that. Okay, so my contractions, y'all know I was having contractions the whole weekend. Well, consistent contractions the whole weekend, but they would stop at nighttime. However, when I was on the 2nd, and being that, like I said, I was already 3 centimeters dilated, and my doctor wanted me to come in for any kind of changes. So on the 2nd, they started around 12-ish. I think they started before then, but I didn't start. Yeah, because we went to Sam's, and when I got home, that's when I started monitoring them. I was having contractions at Sam's, and I didn't start monitoring them until either we got in the truck or got home. So when I got home, I went out and continued walking so that I can keep them going, because I noticed when I sit down for a long time, they would kind of die off. So yeah, I started monitoring them around 12, something after 12, and they were consistent, no pain, just pressure, and I can feel just like slight tightness. Like when I was walking, I could barely feel them, but I knew that they were there. So around 2 or 3-ish, I decided to just go ahead and go in. And I'm like, man, I when I was feeling a little bit of pressure, I'm like, oh man, I should be, further than 3. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I was further, at least 4 centimeters, 4.5. So we got to urgent care, and they checked me, and I was already 5 centimeters dilated. So that was good. And I was very, I don't want to say I was very shocked, but shocked because I was still in no pain. Like, nothing. Like, they would get tight, but it wasn't like, somebody in labor. Like, I wasn't just, now I would have to, like, sit there and breathe or close, just because, like I said, it was so tight. My baby wasn't big, or anything like that. So it was just, and I still had my water. So however, anyway, so I finally got admitted, I think around 3-ish or 4 something. Because the next clip that I'm going to insert and show you was around 4, after 4 and 5. So I'll insert a few clips of the room, and just because y'all, our room was trash, like complete trash. But y'all will see it in the video, so I'm gonna show you that really quick. Christopher, are you ready? They shake your head like that.
Be like, what's his name? It's short midget. No, not midget.
The man with the hair on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Her room is small.
It's a prison all
Right.
Holy Lord.
I'm thinking their room's gonna be like luxurious. This is literally it. I thought it was gonna be like luxurious.
And then it's cold. And then the doggone thermostat don't work.
It don't.
The last room we was in didn't work.
We wasn't on this floor. Oh, wait.
Prison.
Right, look at the table.
You can play cards on. You know, dogs and the prison chairs.
The beanbag paper clip in the corner. I mean, the little hall thing. All right, doctor, how many centimeters am I? No. You supposed to know. Don't you touch them gloves. What did I tell you about touching the gloves?
Don't touch them unless you're going to use them.
Get your tail. Go on now. Go on, get.
I'm trying to see.
I don't approve you to touch me. You have to ask first.
Hey.
Yes, doctors have to ask. They're supposed to ask to touch you. You know it. What? You scratching your stomach for? You hungry?
Boots.
Ain't nobody studying them boots.
So when they say, sir, I need you to take off your shoes.
What they gonna tell you to take your shoes off for though?
Okay. Let's see what's going on over here. Need some more of this right here. It's gonna be cold.
She gonna come in here and if you don't stop touching this stuff, it's all the germs out. That ain't even mine.
What patient is that right there?
I don't know. It ain't me. I'm the first one.
You seeing other people's stuff.
I'm the first one. Well, they had to in case they in here and something go wrong.
Well, they took theirs out to go pee.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do the same thing. All right, y'all. They just changed shifts, switched shifts on nurses and doctors. So the night doctor came in, one of them, and said that they are going to, when the night nurse comes and finishes report and everything, they're gonna come in, check me, and break my waters. So we are there. Contraction. My contractions, they just been there. Not painful, but when I came in, I was 5 centimeters. Don't know what I am now. Hold on. So yeah, so like y'all can see my contractions. They were like my the how they go up. Y'all know the higher they go up, the stronger they are. Like yeah, I was really like coasting through this stuff, and I'm like, man, like this is the experience I wanted to have. You know, not the wrong one, nothing like that, but just no pain. So I did start like with the hypnobirthing. I didn't get through all of the everything, but I got the gist of what I needed to get, and that's what I pretty much used. So like, I was I was doing the doggone thing. So we got to when it came around to like the evening. You know, they do shift change at 7. So they had told me whenever they do shift change, the doctor would come in and break my water. And I was telling them my birth plan, how I didn't want any Pitocin or anything like that. So they were pretty much, okay, and verifying that they got my what I heard, what I said. So then next thing you know, the night nurse comes in and she's coming in and she's like, here, they sent you your Pitocin. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, I told them I didn't want any Pitocin. She was like, oh, well, I don't know. She was like, well, I'll tell you what. She was like, do you, because I thought I was going to get in, because I was telling her, like, I'm finna get in here, get out y'all way. Like, I'm finna have this baby and be on about my business, get out y'all hairs. So, but she was like, how about this? I can give you an hour or so, and I'll see how your contractions do. I'll see how you do, and we'll go from there. So I'm like, okay, thank you. She was like, yeah, because they ordered it. I don't know why. If you told them no, why they did anyway. Hold on. What is it? You trying to talk too? But anyway, so yeah. Hey. I know. Yeah, I'm talking about when I had you. So yeah, she put the Pitocin down and it just laid around. So we just sat around and I bounced and well, I don't think I had a ball at that point. No, I didn't. So I sat around, let the contractions do what they're gonna do. They would slow down and then they would pick back up like when. But yeah. Okay, you want some more? So they would slow down and pick back up whenever I get up, and like I would have to get up and stand up and walk and just do some stuff to get it kind of going because, like I said, when I would sit down, they would start to slow down, and I didn't want them to be trying to come in there talking about some Pitocin and crap and do this, but they wouldn't let me walk like I wasn't. I didn't have an epidural or anything like that, so they wouldn't let me walk. I kept telling them I want to walk down the hall or at least around the circles in my room or something, and it's like they just said okay, but then they tried to ignore it. But I was like, whatever. So I walked as far as I could with the little stuff on my on me, hooked to the monitors and everything like that. Then eventually, and come late at nighttime. The doctors never did come. And, we were wondering, like, what's going on? This way we come to break my water. And kind of find out they had a lot of deliveries that night. They had like 4 or 5 deliveries. So every time the doctor would try to break free, they would get called for another delivery. And like I heard women hollering all over that floor all night, and everything. So then I think it was like wee hours of the morning or the next shift change. No, it had to been the same. I think it's whatever the next morning when they finally did come in to break. One of the doctors tried to come in and tried to break my water. She couldn't do it, and it really pissed me off. Was they tell you to lay down, spread your legs, do whatever. And they say, if you get uncomfortable, you can let me know if you want to stop, blah, blah, blah. So, like, she was going so far and trying to do it Like it was getting painful. Now, mind you, I was having contractions. So it wasn't the pain of the contractions, but it was her reaching in there, trying to break my water and me having contractions at the same time. That was what was hurting. And so I kept, begging to trying to tell them. And they were like literally holding me down. And I'm telling her, like, no, it's hurting. I'm like, stop. Give me, like, let out. I'm having a contraction. Let me get over this. Trying to tell her to stop. Because she told me, I mean, even if they didn't tell me, when I say stop, that's what I mean. So they were holding my legs open. We almost there. You just gotta stay still. Gotta do this. Relax your legs. I'm like, I can't relax. I mean, I could, but it's hurting. Like, I'm telling you, move. And so I'm like, I don't understand it. And that really pissed me off. And so she couldn't get it, of course. Nothing that I was doing, but she was saying that she couldn't feel enough of the bag to pop it. She didn't, they can't nick the baby's head or anything like that. She couldn't feel the baby's head. And of course, when I was laying down, baby, doing all that pressure, baby would come back up and all that kind of stuff. So she stopped, and I think it was a couple of hours before they tried again. I think it's another doctor. It might have been the same doctor. And the second time they tried it, she said that every time she would reach the bag, the baby would go back up. And so when she said that, I'm like, they really verified, how small baby was. Because, at the appointment before that, the growth scan before that, they estimated her to be 5 pounds, 10 ounces. And I knew she probably wasn't going to be like that much. But anyway, so, yeah, she tried to break it the second time and it didn't work. And then, when I was sitting there, I ended up asking for a ball to bounce on. And so when the nurse brought in the ball and everything, I got started to get up, and when I got up, my water broke. So I was like, oh, my water just broke. She was like, really? She was like, let me see, let me check. So she looked down, she was like, yep, your water just broke. And so I got up and got on the ball and bounced the rest of the. Now at this point, this is when I got on TikTok, y'all. So that lets you know, like, the contractions were still nothing. Like, they were nothing. And at this point, I was still 5 centimeters dilated. And it was, like I said, it was because my contractions the intensity kept changing. And so, because they wouldn't let me walk or do anything like that. And also, in my mind, I had figured the umbilical cord was around her neck, because every time I got a scan, the umbilical cord would be somewhere near her mouth or in her hand or something like that. So it would always be her hand near her face and an umbilical cord near her face. And so that was in my mind, but like not too much, because I was listening to her heart rate on the monitor and everything like that. So she didn't have any D cells, but like it would speed up a lot. So after my water broke, it's like I said, I got on TikTok and bounced on the ball and chit chatted and just pretty much was just coasting. And so eventually they moved me. For some reason, they moved me to a COVID room. Y'all know, well, I don't know if everybody at the hospital has these, but they have, like in our hospital, they have rooms where they have, instead of air circulating through the vents, they have this box, and it has a vent that goes to the window that filters outside. And then the room is extremely cold. They moved me in one of those rooms for some odd reason. They just came out of nowhere. It was like, we're going to transfer you to another room. Then they came, unhooked everything, and moved me to another room with no explanation at all. And so it really and it was the same room. It was just a little bit bigger, but everything, the same stuff was in. So I don't understand what they did that for. But anyway, so got to the other room. I think I went to sleep, woke up, and they came and check me again. I was still 5 centimeters dilated. So at this point, I'm like, y'all, I'm ready to just get out of here because I've really felt disgusted in that hospital, and I was tired of them coming in and out of there. Just, you know, just I don't know. I just felt really disgusted. And I was ready to have her and just get it over with. So I told her, I said, okay, we can do the Pitocin, but I don't want to start high. Let me start at the lower. She was like, okay, what we can do is start you at 2. She said the order has you to start at 6 and go up every 30 minutes. But I'll start you at 2 and you can decide when you're ready to go up. And so I'm like, okay. So we started at 2 and my contractions, did what they were supposed to do, but they were doing what they were going to do if I would have got up to walk anyway. So we did that, and we went up as much as I wanted to. We never did get over 10. When we got to 10, that's when I was ready to deliver, and I actually went back down to an 8 or a 6 before that. So we ended up, like I said, going up whenever I wanted to or whenever I feel like I needed to. Like I said, my contractions still weren't painful. The only time I was having pain is, like I said, right before delivery. So around, I think it was around 1-ish, 2. No, it had to be around 2 or 3. When I finally start making progress, which wasn't long after the Pitocin. So when they checked me again after the Pitocin, I was at a 7 centimeters and I think 80% effaced. So I got to 7, and once I got to 7, I knew we were about to get the ball rolling. And even when I got to 7, I still wasn't in any pain. Y'all, like, I was doing the doggone things. Like, y'all need to check out that hypnobirthing and stuff like that, because it's like, it did it. And so, like I said, after I got to 7, so after reaching 7, the pain started increasing, of course, like I said, because I got to a 10, and so I told her to take it back down. So we did that, and things like sped up really fast after I got there. Now my contractions were more painful in my stomach. Where was the pain at? It was like at the top of my pelvis, so like near my ovaries or something like that. And I just had like a little bit of pressure. So eventually they did pick up, like where it was back to back, back to back, back to back. No, well, not back to back, but they were intense. But it was like in one spot. So like it wasn't like all over, something like that. But it was like in one spot that was really uncomfortable. And since having surgery, okay, well, you can't drink that. Just hold on. Go get you some water. And then I'll get you some juice when we come in the house. So you can get you some energy for outside. Let me see. When did you have that? Well, you go and drink it. That's yours? Okay. And that's why I say I cannot record nothing while nobody in the house, especially him, because I be forgetting what I made. They be talking, interrupting me and all that kind of stuff. But I forgot where I was. So, oh yeah, so I have a spot, like when I got that surgery to remove my cyst off my right ovary. It's real sensitive there for some reason. So like I have a lot of extra pain there, and it's probably just scar tissue. But yeah, so it was just a very localized pain. So and here you go. What is it? Yeah. Don't pull my hair. Did you trying to tell me something? So eventually I did ask for the epidural because like I said, them contractions had Pitocin had my contractions on 1,000. Yeah. Okay, what you want? I'm almost done with my story. And I need to edit and upload it. You want some more? Yeah. Okay, so I got the epidural. Like, they came fast. He said they was just waiting outside in the hallway, because they was just didn't have anything to do. And I got a student, which I didn't want. So y'all remember I said I was already traumatized from my spinal. Now when I got this darn epidural, the black lady was having to teach him how to do the darn thing. Like, I mean, of course, walking him through the steps and everything, and my nerves were so bad. And so like when he inserted it, I had the same feeling that I had, that shock. And then it's like he couldn't get it in. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So, he eventually got it in, and it started working, and then it stopped. So, like, I couldn't feel my stomach, like a band around my stomach. I couldn't feel that. But, honey, I felt everything below. I felt all of that. So, I told him, and once the pain came back, it came back hard. And so I'm like worse than, well, yeah, worse than it was before. So I'm leaning on the bed, laying back. So I would, like I said, with the hypnobirthing, your whole body needs to be relaxed, your face and your shoulders especially. No tightening up and everything like that. So I did just that. So I would just pull myself over. So the only tense part I had was my hand. I would pull myself over to the rail and just hum and rock myself there. Or no, I wouldn't rock. I just hold myself there, relax my face, shoulders, and everything till the contraction would be done. Then I would move back over and, do what I need to do and try to position myself so she can come down. And so I was just doing that over and over every time I had a contraction. And then, y'all, when I got to the point of that vibrational hum, I knew that I was transitioning. So I told her to come check me, and she said I was at an 8. And then I think it wasn't even 30 minutes later again, I was telling her, like, I was shaking even more. So I was telling her I needed to push. So she came back in, and she was like, how, she checked me, and she said, oh yeah, she said, how many times did you push with your other babies? And I told her, I said, only 2 or 3 times. So she was like, oh yeah. She was like, she started rushing to get stuff together. She paged the nurse, told everybody if they need to hurry up and come in. And she was like, you can go ahead and start pushing. So she gloved up and told me to go ahead and start pushing. I did some pushes, and with her I pushed a total of I think about 4 or 5 rounds. With my other kids, I only did 1 round, so like 3 pushes and 1 contraction. So with her, I used about, so with this baby, I used about, I think about 4 or 5 contractions. And so when she finally got like into the canal, like I felt everything. And so I felt when she started crowning and all of that. So she started crowning, and I could feel the doctor's hand around her head. She was, doing the circle thing to, move the cervix back and let her help her head come out and all of that stuff. And so she was like, okay, you can stop pushing. Well, I don't think she told me to stop pushing, but when I felt her there, I stopped pushing and just let my contractions do the rest. I did, like a little subtle push. And I knew when her head was coming out that she wasn't just that big. And so she told me, she was like, okay, do one last, her head popped out. She was like, do one last push. I did one last push and the rest of her body came out. And when she came out, the first thing the doctor said, she was like, umbilical cord. So I was right, her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, but it didn't harm anything. She wasn't like blue, purple, or anything like that. So she came out. Y'all, when she came out, I had to lift that leg up because, like I said, man, it was a weird feeling. Like, it wasn't extremely painful. It really wasn't painful. It was just a lot of pressure. But I felt everything. I felt the head coming out, pop out, all of that. And so they put her on my chest, and um, they pulled, my placenta came out. My placenta always comes out like quick. So they pulled my placenta out, and y'all, that was like a woo feeling. Like, it felt good, but it was just like, it felt a relief, a release of some sort. So, yeah, she came out and she was perfect. She was fine. She came out fighting, of course. I don't know why she was fighting. So she came out fighting, and whatever. I guess she was mad. I don't know. I guess she was in there fighting that umbilical cord. But anyway, so I'll insert some clips of her shortly after she came out, and everything like that. So it was a girl, and she was so precious. So she weighed 5 pounds and she said 5 pounds 5 ounces, but from the grams that she gave me, it was 5 pounds 3 ounces. So whatever. She was right in between her brother and her sister. Her sister was 5 pounds 1 ounce. Her brother was 5 pounds 6 ounces, and she was 5 pounds. I say 5 pounds 3 ounces. So she was 5 pounds and 3 ounces. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot going on. My epidural did, like I said, and y'all know the epidurals that they have these days do not numb your legs anymore. So I was fine with that, because even when after they gave it to me, they kept trying to give me more medicine. One time they did give me some more, and I really didn't want any. Told her no, but she had pushed it in there already. So I have been praying that afterwards that I wouldn't have any issues with coming off of it and stuff like that. But post delivery, I think I was pretty much fine with coming off the epidural, like I said, because it only worked around my stomach anyway. So I didn't have any issues with numbness or anything in my legs. But yeah, so they told us we would stay there probably 24 hours. However, we ended up staying there 2 days. And y'all, let me just say, y'all, I was disgusted before I had heard about being in there, and I was even more disgusted because the nurses and doctors kept coming in there without masks. I even had to tell my nurse to just put a note on my door and say, if you don't have a mask on, do not come in there. And even one of the nurses had a mask on, but she had rubbed a hole right there in her mouth. And I'm like, y'all, we have a newborn baby and a fresh open delivery woman here. Why y'all coming in here without your mask? Even the doctors. Like, then y'all got my baby all over y'all clothes and stuff like that, going from room to room. No. So, yeah, we ended up spending 2 days there. Well, I was admitted in on the 2nd. We left on the 5th. So, and I had her on the 3rd. So, had on the 3rd, and we left. Ouch. We left on the 5th. And, yeah, so I was going to do everything separate, but like I said, I really don't be having time, so I'll go ahead and include my postpartum in this as well. Really wasn't not much to talk about, but however, I did end up contracting COVID from the hospital. I started getting a symptom 2 days after I got home. And the only thing I had was like a tickly throat, so I kept having to clear my throat. And that was it. I found out the next week because that's when like I said, I don't get sick. So when I noticed it lasted a few days and it wouldn't go away, like just a tickliness, I went and got checked, and then my anxiety was extremely high. And normally, when my anxiety is really high, something is going on, or um, I just felt really, really weird, and I was having some pains that I haven't had in any other postpartum, which I know everyone can be different, but it was just something that was off for me. So, like I said, I got checked then a few days later, and I was positive for COVID. Baby, we didn't test baby, but I did keep her in the room with me and nursed her. I just didn't hold her outside of nursing. And when I would sleep, like I would have my mask on, and when I would sleep away from her so that I could take my mask off. Chris, he still slept in here. We have a California king, so he's nowhere near me. He sleeps on the other side of the bed and faced the other way. Um, so he was okay. And I did the Paxlovid. Yeah, I was just the only thing the Paxlovid did was make me. I don't know if it was the Paxlovid, but I did get like tiredness. I don't know if it's from being in the bed um, so much all day every day, and being having just delivered. But I did get like I would get really tired. I would get a little bit tired from walking, and just not much, but I noticed a difference. And eventually, like I said, I was fine. I didn't feel like I never had a fever, nothing like that. And so I did my 2 weeks in isolation. I didn't worry about doing the 5 days. After they say after your symptoms leave and blah blah. Like I didn't have your typical symptoms, so it was like I wasn't gonna risk it because of the other kids and stuff like that. So we did that, and I completed my 2 weeks, came out, and then y'all, my other two kids got sick, and they don't get sick, and my anxiety shot through the roof again. Like it was horrible. So we quarantined for 2 weeks. Then I think I came out like a day or two, still had my mask on after my 2 weeks, and boom, they get sick again. I'm like, well, it's not anything else. So Chris tested Christiana. She was positive for COVID. I think he was kind of afraid. We both were afraid to test Samaj, and like I said, I haven't gotten to the other things we've been going through yet, but you'll see. But anyway, so he ended up testing him the next day or 2 days later, and he was positive for COVID. So we're like, how in the world did this happen? We don't know. We don't know how it happened because, like I said, we were all quarantined. I was in the room with the baby, and they were out in the living room and on the other end of the house. The only thing I could think of was Chris picked it up from me. He didn't contract it, but he carried it. I don't know. I honestly don't know, y'all. And it's crazy. And this just goes to show how no one knows, still don't know about this COVID thing. Now, they had the same symptoms as me. Christiana, when she gets sick, for some reason, she's always a little worse off than we are. So she did have a headache one day, and that was it. Samaj had a cough, a mucousy cough, so he just had a little cold in his throat. It wasn't a cough all day. It wasn't like a COVID cough. It was just like a regular cough from a mild cold. But like I said, he doesn't get sick, so I knew that they pretty much had it. But we just needed to verify it so that we would know what to do as far as quarantining. So we had Christiana quarantined on her end of the house where her room is, and there's a living room down there. Samaj and Chris were in this living room outside of my room, and I was back in my room again. So that was another 2 weeks of that. So that was a whole month. We had been quarantined from each other. They haven't been able to bond with baby. Daddy hadn't been able to bond with baby, and it was just been a mess. So, like I said, they went through The kids never got a fever. Christiana tested negative within, I think, 3 days. Samaj, his positive lasted about a week and a half, almost his full 2 weeks, I think, um, because of his immune system. But he was fine. Like, he didn't have any tiredness, fatigue, pretty much nothing, y'all. So it was just like, what the heck? So, eventually, once he got his negative, we kind of allowed, some ease of movement around the house. Started to, and then, y'all, whenever, guess, Christiana gets sick again. And know her dad gets sick first. And he thought it was because he had been doing a lot of the laundry in the house, which he was. He was doing a lot of the laundry. But then it lasted more than a few days, and then his throat started getting dry and irritated. And then Christiana's throat starts hurting. Now, that's her first sign. Anytime she starts to get sick, is her throat starts hurting. And normally she'll get a headache like within the next day or 2 days after. However, she didn't get a headache this time, so I was grateful for that. But Chris had already tested before she got sick, and his test for COVID was negative. So once she got sick, we did test her again after a few days, and hers was negative as well. So we were thankful at that time that it wasn't COVID, but it was like, what the heck else could it have been? So as of today, it's been a week where we've been quarantined again, because I can't risk it, because with baby being here, I can't risk RSV, because they had to take Tomas to one of his appointments, and they were in the hospital, which is where we've caught everything from. So I'm thinking they picked something up from there. And of course, in the hospital, you never know what's lurking in there. So since we knew it wasn't COVID, Samaj didn't get sick this time. So like I said, we've been quarantining, and I've had her down there again. Chris has been in the living room. Samaj has kind of been back and forth in my room and in there with his dad, but I make sure that they're separated. Chris has developed a cough, so now he's having to deal with the cough. Christiana has a mucousy cough, a lot of mucus in her chest, but she's fine. Like I said, they're still active and everything. To this day, we don't know what it is, y'all. So we've been quarantined over a month. It's February 22nd, and I had her January 3rd, and we've been quarantining ever since then, with maybe a few days in between. Y'all can only imagine how we feel. That Chris hasn't bonded with baby at all. And it's ridiculous, and it's just been me and her. And she is interesting, very different from my others. All she does is eat and sleep. So if she's not on me, if she's not with me, well, she's always with me, but she cries a lot. I'm not gonna lie. What you doing? Oh, you okay? You got a splinter? Where? So, yeah, she cries a lot. So, there's that. So, I've been doing this all by myself. Pretty much. My mom comes on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Sundays. So, she helps out. But, of course, since we've been quarantined, she's been having to just mainly deal with the other two kids. And if I need her to, like if I just have to, she's screaming and I need to do something, then she'll hold her for a while, but that's it. Yeah, so, but, this is she. This is baby girl. Say hey. And of course, I'll insert some pictures, but I hate to abruptly end. Everybody is supposed to come in the house. So I want to go ahead and edit this and get it out and then I'll come back and try to catch up. Catch up on some other things. But thanks you guys for watching. If you watched all the way through, I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video.
6 pounds. 5 pounds and 5 ounces. I told y'all. I said 5. Me too. You round that up at 6. Man, go ahead. 24,
right in between Christiana and Samara.
Go to jail. Look at your little mama. I see little mama. I just got your hands nursed, lady.
I can't do anything without them, y'all. It's sad.
Oh, look at her. I know, mama. Oh, she's sucking on her fingers.